When we talk about design thinking, we really usually talking about using design methods for problem solving. Design thinking in a way gives us a toolbox of methods that we can choose from as designers. There's usually some sort of process, and I'm sure you're all familiar with what that process might look like. You're probably practicing that yourself, and you might have read about different ways of how this can be. But of course, that's not a simple linear process with just doing those 3 steps once. But as you're probably aware, that's a process that needs to be done iteratively. And so one of the key principles of design thinking is this idea of iteration. You are probably familiar with this diagram, which is referred to as a double diamond. It was popularized by the UK Design Council. So this first diamond, where we have, again, these two bits of divergent thinking, so broadening our perspective, and convergent thinking, which is the narrowing of perspectives, leads us actually to the specific problem and maybe a reformulated, a rephrased problem that we're trying to solve, before we then again go into divergent thinking, where we're coming up with ideas, and then a phase of convergent thinking, where we're prototyping those ideas into a specific solution. Or in other words, the first diamond is really about finding the right problem that we are trying to address, and the second diamond is about finding the right solution. For an innovation to happen, we need to make sure we're addressing all these 3 values. So we need to understand the human values, which relate to usability and desirability, and that's usually the user experience design, the design thinking, and the human-centered design focus. But we also need to make sure that whatever we're coming up with is viable, so there's a business model behind it, and it's also feasible, so that we can actually build it technically.
So how do we go about actually creating products where we know we're satisfying a genuine user need? And that's really the first step. So going back to understanding what that problem is, do we have the right problem? How do we go about conducting user research so we can find out what our potential users or customers actually need? Once you've established some sort of needs and requirements, then we move into that phase of actually trying to come up with solutions and ideate. So again, that's where your sort of creative lateral thinking can really come in. I mean, how do you make the step from a list of requirements to then thinking about what are possible concepts, solutions?
Human-centered design is a process that is used by large corporations like Facebook, for example. So they originally, if you are a Facebook user, and if you remember, they were originally using only a like button, and they came up with these final emotions and also added an animation to further demonstrate what those emotions represent.